I wanted to plan out a really fun and really detailed video, and that's part of why I haven't been uploading. I wanted to do this really great video for one of my poems, and I've been calling friends and so on and so forth, and it's just logistics and scheduling. It can be extremely challenging. I want to talk about something. Last week, apparently, Mac Miller passed away from an overdose. The specifics of what he overdosed on are just irrelevant at this point. If anyone you know or love, if someone you work with, if an associate, a business partner, coworker, colleague, professor, fellow student, if anyone you know is dealing with a drug addiction, if they're dealing with depression, if they're dealing with something unbearable, and you can step in and help guide them to a safer path to continue their life, please do so. Please do so. I personally have not lost someone to an overdose that I can think of at the moment. I've had relatives who've passed away many years ago. Through drug addiction. I've had many situations in my family, my friends, and very close circle where depression has drastically affected relationships, has led to jail time. It's rough, to say the least. For better lack of a term, it is heartbreaking. To lose someone like Mac Miller, who I only knew some of his music, but to see the impact that he has had on the younger generation, for someone who's 26 years old to die of a drug overdose, like Amy Winehouse, like Jimi Hendrix, like River Phoenix, like so many others who reached an entire generation, who influenced them, whose artistic creativity was unparalleled. And I'm not putting Mac Miller on this pedestal. I'm saying that the people you influence mimic your habits, behaviors, and it affects an entire society, positive and negatively. There's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of children. And when I say children, I mean if you're under 20, to me you're a child, and not in a disrespectful way. You're young and you're still developing. If you're impressionable and if you're impressionable if you're you collapse to peer pressure, find the courage to say no. Not just to drugs, but to say no to your friends. To say no to a friendship, to say no to a relationship, whether it's a friend, a relative, coworker, colleague, whoever. If that person is toxic and they refuse your help and they're forcing you or peer pressuring you to do drugs, say no to the friendship. Say no to them. Do your best to help them, but walk away. I'm not saying ignore them. I'm not saying abandon them. I'm not saying the first time you see them smoking pot or something like that, just don't ever talk to them again. Try to help. But you can only help people as much as they want to help themselves. If you personally are dealing with depression or drug addiction, please seek help. Seek help for you, for your family, for your friends, and think about the impact you're leaving on other people's lives. There's no this new generation of hip-hop, of rappers who constantly promote using prescription drugs by whatever plethora of opioids. It's disgusting. Me personally, as a hip-hop fan, it's that has never been the culture of hip-hop. That is not what hip-hop originated on. That's not what hip-hop is about. And for these young rappers to come up and cry into the microphone how depressed they are, how much they want to be inebriated with drugs, that's their way of crying for help. I respect artists like Russ, like J. Cole, like Kendrick Lamar, who constantly send out a message that doing drugs and drinking in excess is uncalled for, and it's corny, and it's pathetic. It is extremely pathetic. I've seen lives deteriorate. I've seen crime escalate. The best way I can explain it for those of you who most likely are just on the other side of the fence and are for these drugs. When I was 4 years old, a man who was high on crack cocaine broke into my apartment while my father was at work and my mother was asleep, and threatened her life with a gun. Long story short, my mother was fine. Managed to call the police. The man had left. I was unharmed. My father came home from work. It was a traumatic experience for my mother, a difficult time for my father, and it left the thought of how drugs impact a community on me personally as a child, that this is something that I never want to experience, that I don't want other people to go through, that I don't want people to get high and be so paralyzed to their addiction that they succumb to violence and crime in their lives. If you need help, seek help. If you feel you have a hold on it, that you're not addicted, seek help. That's it.
Look at the sky.